Hey guys, Holly Haven here,
Andy Haven.
and we are the North Texas No Filter Real Estate Team, the Haven Home Team, and we are here with your August market update, but these are July's numbers.
Yeah, the reason we do this is because it actually shows what has live happened from the last 30 days. We don't want to give you an August market update when we might have 10, 15, 20, 25 days of August completed, and it doesn't give you a very fair view of what's happened this month.
Yep, and guys, there's a link down in the description if you want live updates, and it's literally week to week. It updates every Friday. I can have those emailed directly to you, specifically for your zip code or your area. So just click that link below. You'll fill out a little form. It'll start sending to you. It's pretty painless.
Yeah.
So, Andy, let's dive right in. Let's talk about what we saw in Dallas the last 30 days.
So this is kind of weird. The statistics are looking a little bit weird in July. July is a slower month, just on average.
Yeah, so this is kind of my caveat, guys. The last 3 years we've had COVID, and COVID market basically had no rules. We had no downtime. Everything was crazy. We were all running around like chickens with our heads cut off. And July has traditionally been one of our slowest months in the real estate industry. And this year we felt it for the first time in 3 years. So we're seeing some kind of strange anomalies here and feeling the market get a little bit back to normal.
Yeah.
Everything's still considered a seller's market. Would we agree? All of these areas are still considered a seller's market, meaning that, everything leans a little more to the seller's interest. But let's dive into Dallas's numbers.
Yeah, so Dallas, we went down in the average list price. We went from 719 to 680. So we did drop about $40,000. But with that being said, it may have been that the average home price obviously was just a little bit lower, and the houses that are priced higher just didn't sell in July. So that can be the reason for that. We did sell at a 100% sales price to list price ratio, though, which means that we're not coming down on price. More expensive homes just aren't selling right now, or they're not listed on the market. So that's something to consider. Days to sell right now, it did go up just a little bit. We're at 29 days. This is still less than a month to sell your home. We're still looking at a very, very, very fast list to sale date. Yep. So that's awesome if you are wanting to list your home right now. The number of new listings did come down by about 200. We're at 1,200 new listings in the month of July for Dallas. With expired listings, we are up a little bit at 1,100 expired listings. This is pretty high. Yep. But you have to take into consideration that Dallas is a very large city. So 1,100 is only in comparison to that number of people who are listing their homes. Additionally, we have 3 months of inventory in the city of Dallas. This is up from 2 months of inventory the last 3 months. So we are looking at more inventory on the market, but the thing is, it just may not be the inventory that people are looking to buy.
Yeah, and interest rates are going to affect.
Yeah.
So the fact that we're hitting, interest rates are higher than they've been in a long time. And as I mentioned, July is traditionally our slowest month. So I think we have a few things kind of colliding here that's giving us some of this data. And we're still not saying, oh my gosh, the sky is falling, we're crashing, houses aren't selling. Guys, that's not the situation. We are still moving steadily along, but we are feeling a normal market contraction for the month of July, higher interest rates. People are kind of waiting to see what's going to happen in that. And we are still very much anticipating late fall, winter, and into early spring, somewhere in that timeline of being a bit of a crazy market again, where buyers are competing again. So interest rates are going to have a lot to do with that, but that's kind of what we're seeing and feeling in real time.
Yeah, for sure. And then once we go over the next couple of numbers, just take into consideration that Dallas is a huge metroplex. And the next 3 that we're going to go over are very small in relation to Dallas. So the numbers are a little bit different, and it doesn't show as much of a movement in the market, but Dallas is a good representation of what all of Texas is going through.
Yeah.
So just keep that into consideration. So in Frisco, our average list price went up yet again. We've been going up for the past, 5 or 6 months.
Yeah.
We went up from 856,000 to 880,000 this month. Huge increase. That means we are selling more expensive homes in the city of Frisco. Sales price to list price ratio was at 99.6. We only went down by 0.4, just meaning that a few homes may not have sold at full value. Days to sell is down. We're at 21 days to sell in the city of Frisco. This is a hot spot, so I am not surprised. Number of new listings has gone down. Again, I'm not surprised. We aren't building as fast as we were the last couple of years.
Mhm.
So new listings are going to get just a little bit smaller over the next couple of months. Expired listings are up, right at 269 expired listings this month, which again, that seems high, but it really is not high in relation to the number of homes listed.
Yeah, and one of the things we've been experiencing with sellers is we're coming off of this idea that houses were selling like this, they're going over
Yeah.
list price. We have some homes that are overpriced sitting on the market. We have sellers who are not willing to make that price adjustment yet, and that's okay, right? They may not have to move. Maybe they just want to test the market, see what they can get for it. And the other thing is, guys, before COVID, like BC, right? Before COVID, a standard listing agreement would easily be for 6 months. Once we got into COVID, we were honestly doing listing agreements for 30 days, 60 days, 90 days, maybe. And we were, selling in 24 hours. So we're seeing some more. I think we're seeing some of these expired listings where we're still doing some 90-day listing agreements because sellers aren't ready to make that adjustment yet mentally. So we're seeing some things that just look a little bit different than what we've been experiencing because I feel like, again, we're getting back to our really stable standard market with our normal ups and downs, and we're kind of still in an adjustment period.
Yeah, for sure. And that's obvious with the months of inventory as well. We are up to 3 months of inventory, which again, a stable market is not until 6 months of inventory on the market. So we're still looking good. No issues in Frisco.
Yep. Prosper. Okay, we make this caveat every month. Prosper and Celina have a lot of new construction, more than we have in the southern areas like Frisco and Dallas, right? So Prosper and Celina's numbers always look a little bit different. You're going to see that when we see days on the market, things like that. But again, Prosper kind of stayed the same. We went from 982,000 to 985,000 as our average. Guys, that is the average list price in Prosper is nearly $1 million. And I want to go back because December of 2022, that average was 847. So we have gone up over $100,000 in the last 8 months, 7 months. So just kind of put that in your brain and think about that for a minute. List to sell ratio, 98.5%. Again, when we have builders put their properties in MLS, they have been a little bit more negotiable lately. So we're seeing some of those not go at the full list price because builders are starting to give some incentives again in certain cases.
Or you have sellers who are wanting more for their property than the property may be willing to sell for.
Yeah.
So that's why you're also seeing
having to make some concessions to get the property sold. But we have 49 days to sell. Like she mentioned a minute ago, 6 months is really what we call our stable standard market. So 49 days is still very, very fast. 109 new listings on the market, which is down from last month. 97 expired listings, which is down from last month. So that's good news. And then we do have what we're calling 4 months of inventory in Prosper. So that is up a little bit. Again, we're still calling it a seller's market, but we have definitely slowed a little bit. And for sellers who need to sell their home, maybe they have to move out of state, they have a job transfer, guys, we're gonna have to get a little bit realistic about what the market's doing, what we would be comfortable selling at, and what that timeline looks for us, because every seller has their own motivation.
Yeah, and that 4 months of inventory can also go back to the fact that a lot of sellers right now don't necessarily have to sell. They're listing it because what if it sells? And the buyers are like, well, I'm not going to buy right now at 7%. So we have a lot of people who are just, let me just list it on the market and see what happens.
Yeah.
And that's why we have more inventory than what's being sold.
Absolutely. Sorry, I had a little delay there.
So moving on to City of Celina. This one is always interesting to me because people are like, oh, well, Celina is still so small. It's not going to be big for like 10 years. This stuff is crazy. So the average list price in the city of Celina is $728,000. For a small town, that is a very high average list price. That is up about $60,000 from December of last year. Sales to list price ratio stayed the same, right at 98.7%. This is a very, very solid sales price to list price ratio. Our days to sell is at 48, so this is down since last month, which is great. That means a lot of our inventory is getting out of there. People are able to accurately price their homes and sell them quicker.
Well, and on that number, when we look back from December every month down, this is the lowest number of days to sell we've had in Celina since at least last December.
Yeah.
So it's interesting to see that trend. Again, some of this is going to be attached to the fact that we have lots of new construction. builders will put a property on the market before it's actually ready to
Mhm.
even, have anybody move into it. So we have some longer days on the market in there sometimes. And I think that's, again, why we've seen those days be a little bit longer in the past. We're playing catch up. Our builders are finally getting some things done. We have houses that are available to move into. So our days on the market are dropping a little bit in Celina.
Yeah, for sure. And our number of new listings has dropped a little bit. We're going into the school season. People are about to start school. They don't want to list their house right this second. So that is why listings are probably down just a little bit this month. Expired listings, we are down as well, right at 96 expired listings. That is a very small number,
Yeah.
a great number. The lowest we've been at is 64. So I do think that we may see those expired listings pick up just a little bit.
Yeah, and that could go either way, guys. We could have as we become more comfortable with what the market's doing, meaning higher interest rates, takes us a little longer to sell, right? We've got to adjust pricing to account for interest rates. So it's not that our values are dropping, as we can see, right? Prices continue to go up on that average price, but everything kind of starts to play together where interest rates are going up. It means we have to be a little more negotiable. Sellers are getting a little bit more educated on, okay, we're not still in the COVID months. We need to be really realistic about what we can sell our house for, and use data and comps to get us to that number. And I don't know. I think some of this could balance out a little bit. I also think we're going to see longer listing agreements. We're going to go from that 90 days to 6 months. And I think some agents have not made that shift yet because some sellers are not ready to wrap their brain around a 6-month commitment.
Yeah, no, for sure. In the city of Celina, we are still looking at 3 months of inventory, just like last month. So that does mean that our houses are consistently selling. We haven't had more than 3 months of inventory in the last 4 months at least.
In a long time.
Yeah.
All right. Well, guys, that was our quick update. We'll all these kind of data points are in the description below. We would love for you to subscribe to our channel, like us, follow us, click that link to get your own market update. It'll just email you every week. Super simple. Gives you the quick highlights of what's happening in your zip code, and leave comments.
Yeah. And we'll see you in the next one.
Bye, guys.